We ready? Okay, great. Why don't we just quickly go through each song? I know it's hard, though, sometimes to explain a song.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have problems talking about them?
To me, I don't. Is this like a recording kind of thing now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. We edit.
Okay, a recording kind of thing. I know I'm using the technical. I'm using the technical jargon on you now, so just. So, okay, I'll just put it in layman's terms. Is the tape on? Okay, I'm sorry. It's. I don't have a problem talking about the songs, but from my experience, I would listen to songs when I was growing up, and would have a special connection to a song because I could apply it to my life. And then when I actually heard that, Martha, My Dear was about a sheepdog, I just it kind of ruined it for me. So I don't like to talk about them extensively. I don't mind talking about the creation of the song or the ideas that, whether it's about me or somebody else.
It must be interesting when people come up to you after a show and say, I love this song because,
Mm-hmm.
and their interpretation isn't what you had in mind, but it's still a very interesting interpretation.
Right, and I never sway them from their beliefs, and they come up and say, this song is my life, and this happened to me with this guy, and the song might not be about a guy, but I'm like, really? Well, I'm glad then my job is done. It's like message sent and message received. Then that's all I can ask for.
Well, tell us about
That song's really not so much about me as it is about, because I have a great mom, Not about you, Mom, really. It's a combination of a couple people, and it was just something, it's not a new idea, it's kind of a theme I've heard before, but it was just an afternoon of writing, and I guess it's pretty self-explanatory.
Hey, wait a minute. That is me.
Yeah, and my old band, before I left, I was in a four-girl type of folky rock band, and every time we'd write a song, we'd be like, wait a minute, and we'd take it personally, but not now. I think that people just, they don't really ask me too much about the songs anymore, so.
When you're creating a character, I guess, for lack of a better description, or a theme for a song, do they reappear in other songs?
Yeah, I would say subject matter, the inspiration for a song, there might be like a bad relationship that might spawn quite a few songs. But I wouldn't say like a fictional character that, like Oliver Twist isn't going to pop up anywhere. Sorry. Yeah, and I'm not Rogers and Hammerstein, so.
But when you're on stage and you're doing, like, you're singing about a bad relationship,
Mm-hmm.
is it hard sometimes? I mean, even though people don't know,
Mm-hmm.
they really don't know what the song is and what, the background of the song. It's sometimes hard to sing a song that's really personal.
Yeah, there's a few songs that I just don't do on stage because they're so, they're just a little personal, and a lot of times it's hard to, it has to be just the right night and just the right audience ready to receive that kind of thing. And most of the clubs that we're doing at this point is pretty loud, and, it's rock clubs, so we do most of our heavier songs, and those, you kind of go, some nights you go on automatic pilot, and it just doesn't mean what it used to when you wrote it. And then some nights when everything's very crystal clear and it comes back to you, that's kind of chilling some nights. Mm-hmm.
He said it was the audience thing. There's a right moment.
Right.
Are you ever on stage where you're shifting things around and saying, well, this is a good time?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you have a set list that you stick to, or are you flexible?
We write a different set every night, but I'll, turn around to the guys and tell them, let's do this instead. Because I like to kind of play for the audience that's there. And some nights are different than others. Some nights they're in the mood to hear acoustic, soft music, and some nights they want to hear, blues covers or something else. And so I kind of try to judge the room and adjust it in that way. Well, usually it's not my songs. They're usually shouting out Skinnerd or something like that. So, yeah, but yeah. So we get through it, and so it makes you feel good when people shout out the songs that they're yours, and like, yeah, we're gonna get to that one. So it makes you feel welcome, especially at this stage that we're at. Not a lot of people know who we are, and so when you go to a club and people actually have the CD, it's a really good feeling.
Are you comfortable on stage? I read some things that you're really shy. You don't actually appear to be that shy.
Well, this year has just whooped me right into being the social butterfly, because you can't do this kind of thing and hide away somewhere, because I don't know. Also, I think that shyness comes with your position that you're at in your lifetime. And now I feel a little bit more confident because I'm kind of succeeding at something that I love and being accepted. And so in that acceptance from people, you learn that you don't have to be shy. I think my shyness was from feeling awkward all the time. Now I kind of feel like, well, gosh, if these people, actually like these songs and are here, then I don't have to be afraid of them.
But in some ways, the songs were created by that other person.
Mm-hmm.
So now, is there a whole new batch of songs?
Yeah.
Different persona?
Totally different style. I don't try to write, when we first started recording, Mark and I, the songs were they were very folk and a lot of feeling and a lot of depth to them. And now I'm not in that same frame of mind, and I would never try to recreate that. And I don't think that you should. I think that you should just let the song kind of go where it is. And the same with the band. I don't try to force the band into any kind of pattern or path. We let the song kind of take its own growth and develop by itself, and do just what's best for the song. So the stuff that I'm writing now is different than the first record, and I'm sure it'll always be changing. I hope it would always be changing and evolving, because if you don't change, who wants to hear the same record over and over? Yeah.
And that's almost a risk in a way, to keep changing, but as an artist, you want to grow.
Yeah. There's an amount of change that's within your realm. If I did a rap record next, well, then that would probably turn a lot of people off. But I think the change and the growth is in songwriting. I hope I'm becoming a better songwriter, and I hope that people would appreciate that, because it isn't too far off from where we've been already. Some days it does, and some days it's what I try to do. I don't ever try to force a song. Like, there's people that have the ability to sit down and say, I'm going to write a song, and write it in 5 minutes and it's done. I don't try to take that direction. I basically just pick up the guitar, and it's kind of like fishing, and some days the songs are biting and some days they're not, and the days that the songs come around, it's kind of it's hard to put into words, because it's like a door opening, and when you stumble onto something that wow, this is going to be a song, and the door opens, and it's as if somebody else is whispering the song in my ear or something. It's a very strange. Those are the most inspired songs. And then there's other songs that are laborious and kind of like you start them and you never finish, and then a year later you'll finish it. But I think the best songs are the ones that just come around like a storm or something unexpected. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I read in one of the articles, a whole stack of articles, I thought that sentence they all kind of described it the same way. All you wait fish.
I know. I love that.
Yeah. But one of the things about somebody had, I don't think they criticized your voice, but they were
Yeah, that's kind
How
of
did
it.
you find your voice? What kind of journey did you take?
Like I said, I was in another band in Florida, and I only sang harmonies in that band. And sometimes I would step out and do some the lead vocal. And as I left that band, and I still wanted to write songs, I never really considered myself a vocalist. So it was very hard to get up there in front of people and be the person in front. So just from doing it for, 3 years, doing it solo, and then I went to before the Atlantic record came out, I went to a vocal coach in Miami who's just excellent and really into spiritual things as well as physical exercises. And I just tried to explore and not be, I would, when I started singing, I just struggled through songs because I wanted to write and I couldn't have anybody else sing it. And so instead of being nervous about my voice and being like apprehensive and hating my voice, actually, I just tried to explore and become more comfortable with it and bring it closer to me and not have it be some odd thing that I was afraid of. So I worked all summer with this vocal coach and just experimented and tried to find my own identity in the voice. And
So what do you hear when you listen to your voice? What do you think?
most of the time I hate it. People are like, when you hear yourself on an answering machine, I don't know.
But it must be pleasing in some aspects because you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's what you had envisioned.
Yeah. After a while, it becomes very easy to hear yourself, except when you're off key and singing badly. But after a while, you become accustomed to how your voice sounds. And there's some people, like when we work with Jackson Browne, sang backups on the record. He knows his voice so well that he would sing a line which I would think would be identical, but he can hear the difference in that. And I'm not to that point yet, but I'd like to, have that maturity someday to be able to be so fine-tuned and so in tune to your own body that you hear those differences.
So he's saying things that it sounded the
Same to me, and he can just, no, the tone is wrong, and he can, so that comes just from experience and singing for many years, I guess. Oh, man. I don't know. It's kind of, I was very apprehensive because I listened to him growing up, and he was a big influence on me, not only musically, but I was very into, like, I saw the No Nukes movie, and that got me interested in politics, and but all that group of people, James Taylor and CSN, were very formative in my teenage years. And now they're not so much an influence on what I'm writing now, because I think there's a lot of great bands out there, a lot of alternative and new bands, and radio is really opening their doors to a lot of new music. So they really got me started on and wanting to write. And then now I just I'm inspired by just people around me, other musicians doing great things that I hear. You think? I know. I did too. It's a breath of fresh air that's coming none too soon. Sure. I'd Be Lying was actually, it was kind of written about my old band, and I'd just left them, and I was trying to figure out, the song came on the radio, and I was trying to figure it out, and I stumbled upon the wrong chords, but I liked them, and just kind of, it was a song written in 3 minutes, basically, and it was originally released on an independent CD that we put out through Y&T out of Miami, and so when we went to re-record it for Atlantic, it just didn't capture the same groove, so they pulled it off the indie CD. So it's all different musicians than the Atlantic release. And we just remastered it and put it on the record, and it became a single. Just not saying, I don't know, so. Yeah, I'm happy. Anything's a single at this point. I'm happy to have a record at this point.
You must be very happy.
Yeah, it is. It's frustrating and it's aggravating, and getting your gear stole and working 12 and 18-hour days, and it's still better than what I used to do. So, I can't complain because I have a lot of friends in Miami who are musicians, and I go home and I whine to them, and they're like, "You brat," they want to slap me one because they love to be doing what I'm doing. So I can't complain. I just want to keep music a part of my life, even if I'm not on a label. I'll always probably have that. So, oh God bless, more work than I ever thought it was. Yeah. Hello.
And everybody's smiling.
Sleeping. It's okay.
You love that line. What's your favorite line?
I see a future, and all it sees is me. You will never ever see me cry. Yeah. That was written about a crush I had on someone who they kept ignoring me. I was getting really mad. That's all that's about, and it's kind of like I had I didn't think anyone else around me knew. When you're just like in the room with this person and you're just weak in the knees, and nobody else around you is even aware of that, and that's kind of what Everybody's Sleeping is about. Like everybody just has no idea, and so.
It must be great to have feelings like that and to be able to express them. To be able to
Yeah.
let things out because other people don't have that ability.
That's one of the main reasons I started writing in the first place, is because I had no friends and no one to talk to. I didn't have any money for a doctor, so I started writing songs in my room and just learning from, hearing Joni Mitchell pour her heart out, and then hearing her stuff and writing. It was like a therapy for me to understand why the world was like it was and why things were happening. So, yeah, it's great. And like I said, I'll always do music just for that reason. If no one ever gets to hear it, it'll save me some doctor bills.
And the other one, I don't have the title of the other one.
Oh, it's called 16, and we hope to have that on the next record, but we don't know. We don't know if we're going to get a next record. So, it's, well, thanks. That was just a song written in a very short amount of time. I was at home and thinking about some things that had happened to me in the past when I grew up in Chicago outside. And I was thinking about things that happened to me when I was 16, and those were like 3 things that just leave a mark on you forever. And I remember the 4th of July so clearly, and it was just moments that are so well defined in your mind, and just kind of strung them together, and that's why it's called 16. So, cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm waking up. I'm